Taiwan, an island under threat from China for decades. Now set against the backdrop of a war in Ukraine and a conflict in the Middle East. Some fear an invasion could come sooner rather than later.
The reunification of China is a historical inevitability. Our goal is grand and simple.
So what's at stake if China decides to invade Taiwan? The island sits roughly 100 miles from the coast of southeast China, with the Taiwan Strait running between them. There's been tension ever since the Chinese Civil War more than 70 years ago. The Nationalist Party fled to Taiwan after their defeat to the Communists. Ever since, China has seen Taiwan as a breakaway province, but some people in Taiwan see themselves as a separate nation. Years of China putting pressure on countries not to recognize Taiwan. Only a handful of nations do. While the US doesn't officially support Taiwan independence, President Biden had this to say.
There is clear understanding among most of our allies that, in fact, if China were to act unilaterally, there would be a response.
A conflict would have global implications, and this can be seen no clearer than in one industry: semiconductor chips. They power everything from mobile phones to electric cars. Taiwan alone makes around 60% of the world's semiconductors, and crucially, more than 90% of the most advanced ones. An invasion of Taiwan could threaten the global supply. One group thinks $2 trillion worth of economic activity. So where could Taiwan-China relations go next?
Maintaining peace and stability across the Taiwan Strait isn't just the current consensus of the international community, but also the responsibility of China and Taiwan.
The recent election saw a historic victory for Lai Ching-te, a candidate with a history of making pro-independence statements.
We are telling the international community that between democracy and authoritarianism, we will stand on the side of democracy.
His party, the DPP, takes the hardest line on China.
With every ballot Taiwanese people cast, it's a way for them to affirm and reconstruct what they see as a rightful path for Taiwan's future under China's shadow.
And they're now back for a historic third consecutive presidential term. Some think the election results will heighten tensions even more.
We don't need to be subject to China. We don't need to rely on China. We must resist China's intrusion.
Whether it's semiconductor chips, new leadership, or the possibility of a future war, Taiwan might be a small island in size, but it's clear whatever happens next could have colossal global implications.